the way that the decision is written, they are unapologetic in trying to say, well, it's okay to play politics with people's right to vote, with their access to the poll. It's okay to play politics. And here's how I think about it. What they are doing is they are backdooring racism behind politics to get to this decision and to justify them what is happening in particular right now in all the southern states. And this is obviously a time for us to fight.
Stone cold racism in a scale I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. Never have seen in my lifetime. It's all happening. Bring us back to a pre-1960s world. It's jaw-dropping what's happening. It was jaw-dropping what Governor Landry did. He suspended a primary election where tens of thousands of people had already voted. Why? To redistrict 2 districts to eliminate black representation. Anti-woke is anti-black. All these attacks on DEI, it's anti-black. Level of racism is sick. Rewriting history, censoring historical fact. This is not why our founding fathers lived and died. It was about the expansion of liberty, expansion of freedom.
Today's decision by this illegitimate Supreme Court majority strikes a blow against the Voting Rights Act and is designed to undermine the ability of communities of color all across this country to elect their candidate of choice. But we're not here to step back. We're here to fight back.
Yes.
Now, when this decision came out earlier today, it's an unacceptable decision, but not an unexpected decision. Because this isn't even really the Roberts Court. It's the Trump Court.
Yes.
And what we would expect from the Trump Court is an effort to continue their scheme to suppress the vote and rig the midterm elections and beyond. Because these extremists have failed America in every possible way. They failed on the economy. They failed on healthcare. They're failing as it relates to this reckless and costly war of choice. The extremists have completely and totally failed America.
That's right.
So they've concluded, aided and abetted by the Trump court, that they have to cheat to win.
Have you heard about this? They say black Americans will only vote for black candidates. But if that's true, why have black voters repeatedly rejected black candidates they believe weren't their best choice? Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification on for more updates. You're welcome.
Ramon, my God, today. Okay. You were running and the logic is chasing you, but you were just so much faster and it's just going over your head. And the I see you in the comments responding to everybody with these rhetorical questions that you think are proving your point, and you're not, because the thing is, your whole argument is based on a faulty premise. The premise that black people only vote for black candidates, and you can't work through that in your mind, and you're not listening to what I'm telling you about that not being true. And it's the problem why I always attack this is because you all say this in an offensive way, as if to imply that black people are not making strategic, pragmatic, good voting decisions. Here's why black people will show up and vote for a qualified, I'm gonna say it again, a qualified black candidate in this way, because we are unencumbered by anti-blackness. There's some notes here, there's some caveats. It definitely impacts us, but by no means in the way that it moves through other communities. We are unencumbered by anti-blackness. We see a Jasmine Crockett, we see her resume, we see her excellence, we see all of those things. And whereas you all see them as a hindrance, she's too much, she's too this, we don't see it that way. We see her full potential. We are not burdened by this idea of that her blackness should limit her, as you all are. And so because we don't have that burden, as we're assessing candidates, that is not an issue to us. If we ever discuss it, we are discussing it not from our own community, but how you all who aren't black are going to perceive her. And so we're able to go in there and to look and see who, and vote based off of merit, and see who is the most qualified person here. And it is Jasmine Crockett. And I want you all to prove this point. I want you all to do this exercise. Quit asking us. Our voting records are strong. We have the strongest voting record in this current time. We have picked the right person in every pivotal race. My entire adult life, Black voters have shown up and picked the right person. No one should question our choices. This shouldn't be the conversation. You should start asking, well, damn, if all the Black people, the canaries in the coal mine, are picking this one person, what am I missing? But you have a faulty premise here because you're thinking that Black voters are making a racist or racial-based decision, and that's not what's happening here. We are unencumbered by anti-Blackness. We are focused on qualifications, and we make pragmatic, intelligent decisions. Other communities do not. And what I would tell you all to prove this point, if you take those resumes, hers and his, and you flip the gender and race, there is no way that you all would ever think a Black woman who had only served in the state house, and you have to understand this in Texas, our state house meets every other year for like 6 months. It's a part-time job. It's nowhere near like being a member of Congress. The entire time that he was running in this race, he was not having to meet and actively be part of our state government. They have not met the entire time he's been in this race. Whereas Crockett had to go back and forth between Texas and DC. If we had a Black woman in our state house, like Nicole Collier, for example, who went viral last year after she was literally held captive in our state capitol after returning from the quorum break. If Nicole Collier, a Black woman attorney who'd only served in the state house, had dared to run against a white man who was in Congress, a white Democrat that's currently in Congress for senator, y'all would say she's not qualified. Why would she, she's only been in the state house. Y'all would say that. And so this idea here that this is probably the best example of Black people voting off of merit and qualifications. It was very clear. And so any argument that you make, Ramon, that is based on this idea, trying to prove that Black people are voting because of Blackness, is flawed. It's flawed here. When the reality is other people were voting because of anti-Blackness. And I'm not saying everyone, so don't get in my comments trying to argue. I'm not saying everyone. But the anti-Blackness in this race was so prevalent, it cannot be ignored. And so the idea that you are trying to put this onus on us as Black voters to analyze our votes, like I said, our record is strong, baby. It's strong. The rest of y'all have shady records. The rest of y'all sit at Thanksgiving with people who vote against their own interests and who vote to send this country down this crazy path that we're on right now. We don't have that issue. So I reject this idea of looking at Black voters in this way, because I'm like, this ain't on us at all.
There's a good amount of debate on the Democratic side of the aisle in Texas over whether Black voters support state lawmaker James Tallarico. Well, we have some interesting numbers. Tallarico is running against Attorney General Ken Paxton in November, but there was a pretty bitter primary race between Tallarico and Dallas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Crockett has since called the primary election racist and says she's going to spend her time this November helping down-ballot candidates and not campaign directly with Tallarico. I was listening to the podcast from the University of Texas's Texas Politics Project, ran by pollsters Jim Henson and Josh Blank, maybe the most consistent pollsters in the state. They looked at their latest poll on a Tallarico-Paxton matchup and compared it to where Beto O'Rourke was in 2018 and where Colin Allred was in 2024, with specifically the state's Black voters. And they found Tallarico has more support among Black voters right now than both Congressman Allred and Congressman O'Rourke did at this same time in the race. 67% of Black voters who answered the poll in June 2026 said they'd vote for Tallarico. 13% for Paxton, 12% said they didn't have an opinion. Now, back in June 2024, 47% of Black voters chose Colin Allred, 23% chose Ted Cruz, 22% did not have an opinion yet. And then back in June 2018, 49% of Black voters chose Beto O'Rourke, 11% chose Ted Cruz, and 31% did not have an opinion yet. Now, the two takeaways from the pollsters were these two things. One, Tallarico is much better known by everyone at this point in the race. And two, if Tallarico has a problem right now, it's more with Black leaders, not exactly Black voters. But remember, with all polls, this is just a snapshot in time. The election day is in November. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and follow me for more Texas and political updates.
This debate is spreading online ahead of 2026 election and is raising an important question. How do Black Americans actually decide who to vote for? Many people argue that Black voters simply vote based on race, but others point to examples like Herschel Walker and Wilson LCS, noting that many Black voters did not support them despite their race. Their argument is simple: qualification, policy, and trust matter more than skin color. Others say the real problem isn't just the debate itself, it's the assumption that Black voters don't think independently. They argue that reducing millions of people to one voting pattern ignores the diversity of opinions within Black community. As the 2026 election gets closer, conversations like this are only becoming louder. What do you think? Are Black voters being misunderstood, or is this debate missing something important? Let me know in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, turn your notification on so that you get in touch for more updates. I will see you soon in the next video. You're welcome.